Is your master cylinder not telling your slave cylinder what to do? Then we have the solution for you. Hey guys, today we're going to be learning how to replace the clutch master cylinder in your vehicle or your manual vehicle. The clutch master cylinder is usually located right beside where your master cylinder is, typically tucked away back in the corner here. If for some reason it's not there in your vehicle, maybe they shoved it somewhere else in a stupid location. But we'll be going over how we remove this, how we install the new one, and then how we bleed it. Alright guys, the first thing you're going to do, I'm up under the driver's seat. This is the clutch pedal. You're going to see the clutch pedal goes up and hooks into a bracket right here. This is your master cylinder, your clutch. There's a pin right here with a peg that goes through a hole on your clutch. All you got to do is pull this pin out right here, this little cotter pin. You pull that out, and then you can take a screwdriver, a hammer, and tap the pin, retaining pin, out to the other side, and then that's going to loosen that for you and get it off of the clutch for you. You might have a slightly different design, but it should be relatively the same. Alright guys, next you're going to see there's one nut here on your clutch pedal. This is loose because I already broke it free. It's usually like 10 millimeter, mine was 12. You're going to break that free and take it off. And for me, there is another bolt on the other side, right up in here. I have to go around back behind here to access it, but there's another nut back in here that I have to take off to get my master cylinder off for my clutch. So yours might be slightly different, but more than likely you're going to have two nuts on the inside firewall here holding it on. So go ahead and take those two nuts off, or bolts, whatever they might be for you. Alright guys, now that you've got those two nuts off inside the firewall, your clutch master cylinder is going to be loose. You're obviously going to want to get a line wrench. There is a line coming out of the master cylinder down in here that goes to your slave cylinder. You're going to want to take a line wrench. Mine takes 10 millimeter. If you're in a pinch and you don't have a line wrench, you can use an adjustable pair of pliers, or you could use a box end wrench. I just don't really recommend using that because you can easily strip these out. So go ahead and stick your line wrench down on here. Once you get that on, you're going to twist it and break that free, and go ahead and unscrew it from the master cylinder. And once you get that out, you'll be able to take your master cylinder and pull it right out of the firewall. Alright guys, now that I got that line disconnected down here, my master cylinder's loose and it'll pop out just like that. And just like that, it's out. Now, in my case, I do not have a seal here. Sometimes you will have a seal that you need to take off and reuse for your new one that you'll need to put back on. So if you do have a seal on here, take that off and then reuse that. Hey guys, for this part, obviously our GoPro decided not to record audio. I'm just showing you our new master cylinder here. Ours did not come with a stud because it was a factory defect, so we put a bolt through. So obviously yours will have two studs here that you can stick through the firewall. So right here I'm going to be putting it back into the firewall. All you're going to be doing is lining your two studs back up with the holes and make sure that you stick the pump through the hole into the firewall correctly. But just line up your studs. Shouldn't really have any problems getting it through. Mine got hung up on the inside a little bit because I think I got stuck on the clutch pedal. That's why I had to stop and run in quick to get that. But that's all you have to do. Just line up your studs and pop them through the firewall and you should be good to go. Alright guys, once you got those two nuts back in, you're going to see that this thing needs to get lined back up with that hole up top. So you're going to stick that hole, you're going to stick your pin back in the hole to get it ready. You can stick it on the other side of the silver thing. Raise that up. Alright guys, I still have to get my pin through more, but once you get your pin all the way back through, take your cotter pin and stick it back through that pin, and once you get back through here. Alright guys, now that we've got that fastened back to the firewall, you're obviously going to stick your line back into your master cylinder. Obviously your new one's going to have a plug in where your line's going, so make sure you take that out, otherwise you're not going to be able to screw it in. But go ahead and get your line shoved back in there and get it screwed back in with your line wrench or your wrench, whatever you're using, and then we'll show you how we're going to fill this and then bleed it.
Alright, so have the new clutch master cylinder in place, and we're going to be filling it with .3 brake fluid, which is what it takes. I mean, there's like 3 different kinds of fluid I think it takes, and .3 is one of them, so that's what we're using.
So we're using a funnel here to fill it up because it's kind of a hard access spot. So go ahead and fill up your master cylinder to the fill line. Ours is right there. So I'm going to stop that there.
Let's put the cap on. Yeah, now this process is going to be pretty much the same as bleeding your brakes. We're going to have one person inside pump the clutch a bunch of times and then hold it down. And then right down here, this is a front wheel drive vehicle, so it's going to be right here on it. Right here is the slave cylinder, and there's a bleeder nipple right there. So we're going to be bleeding it from here, and the line goes from the clutch master cylinder the whole way around the engine bay back through here, but this is the only point you really need to access. So we're going to bleed it just like we would brakes, pump the pedal inside, build pressure, hold it down, and then break this loose to let out the air and old fluid that's still in the line.
Alright guys, so obviously we have 2 people here, so that's much easier, but if you don't have a friend to help you, because we all don't have friends, you can take a 2x4 or a board, and you can stick the board on the clutch all the way down and wedge it between your seat and there. As long as you have the clutch held down so that pressure's being put on the cylinder, you should be good. So, since he's holding that down, I'm going to be coming out here with the line wrench down in here on that nipple we just showed you, and we're going to be cracking that open to let out the pressure. You're going to repeat this process until the clutch pedal becomes rock hard or very hard in terms of trying to get pressure.
Alrighty, so we finally have it bled. We did that, what, at least 10 times?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that a whole bunch. It took a long time. We started up front here, didn't really get anywhere, so we went back to the master clutch here, the master cylinder for the clutch, and we had to bleed it from here, from this line. Don't know if you guys can see anything there, but from that line down in there that we reinstalled, we bled it from there, and we got a bunch of air out of the master cylinder itself. And once we did that, we were able to go down here, and after a bunch of tries with seemingly no progress, we started getting pressure, and then very soon after that, it seemed to be back to what it should be. Like, we got really good pressure. The clutch feels stiffer than it has since we got it. So, for now it's bled. We're gonna take it on a test drive. He's topping off the fluid on that, and then we're gonna test it out and see how it does. Alrighty, so we're gonna test it for the first time here.
So clutch in, reverse. Hey, it shifted. Letting off. First. Oh, beautiful.